It didn't really go well, no. Not for her, nor for me. Winter was kind of okay with it. I think it was probably really awkward for Sos.
Oh yeah, you met him for real?
I didn't meet him, no, but she met him when she met Winter.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask you if you like touched his dick or something.
No. He didn't do anything, I know he didn't.
Well, well, scaredy Claude in the
No,
flesh.
if you touched his dick.
You've grown up.
No, I wouldn't do that. Not to him.
Why not? You have to like grab it and pull it off.
I'm not that cruel.
And Raz, this does take me back. You never change.
But you said he had no
And the
balls.
lovely
So you had
Riley
to
Miller,
for real.
always out of our league. I recognized you instantly.
Grab his balls and just pull them off.
Like C.S.
Oh,
Lewis said,
take that
hope
as a
springs
compliment.
eternal from the human breast. So I guess I was just hoping maybe if I don't rip them off, or rip something off, then maybe something will grow there
I
one
don't
day,
go by
you know?
Kai anymore. It's for SETI
Right.
now. I'm an officer of the Imperial Army.
That's a long one day.
And he's older than me.
Empire? Then Lena.
Damn, he should be dead.
I believe we've already reunited on the battlefield, albeit indirectly. Didn't you?
But I don't know,
notice,
she...
Claude?
I guess
If not, maybe you haven't grown as much as I'd hoped.
Did she just, yeah?
Ellie kind of dumped Winter after that pretty
Hold on.
much and never even
This
spoke
is
to her
Kai?
again.
You-
And
Does that mean
I've
it's
started
a spy
speaking
for
to
the
Winter more and
Federation?
more, and
A
like I said,
double
she
agent?
sent me pictures of her baby.
That's incredible.
Ouch.
So you went undercover to beat the Imperial Army from the inside out.
I can't believe Ellie dumped Winter.
She pretty much dumped Miranda too.
I'm no spy.
Until she found out that I was becoming friends with
Didn't plan
Miranda,
to
at which
spy,
point
huh?
she started to try to reconnect with
At least,
Miranda.
she used to be one of mine.
Huh?
I just, I
What
don't
are you
give
getting
a fuck.
at?
I feel like such an old man now.
I joined the Imperial Army
I
of my
just-
own free will. That's the
You're
truth.
done with all this drama shit.
Yeah, I'm done. It's all just funny to me. It's all just entertaining to me at this point.
I'm working for
Right.
the cause.
Yeah,
Power.
I'd love to meet you and hang out with you, you know?
War has changed, Claude. Nations fight each other, but it's not about territory or resources anymore. The system we know as war.
You're always welcome
has
to
been
come to
twisted
Arizona. There ain't
beyond
much to
human
see here.
desires
I
and
mean, I could take you up
competitions that
north and we
sparked
could
it.
go camping and we could shoot shit in the desert.
It's become its
Shooting
own
shit.
culture, its own catalyst, its
Oh
own
my god, the
reason.
cactus, shoot it!
I saw.
I could
that
get us some. I could get us some one night drugs that we could do out in the desert
and I vowed
that I've
to
never
stop
even
it.
tried before. But my friend tells me.
I'm doing drugs, buddy.
My friend tells me that if you do this stuff like out in the desert, that it's like this mind-blowing experience, and you just do it once, and then you don't even want to touch it again. But I mean, whatever. It's some Native American shit. I don't know.
Claude,
But
if you wish to know the truth,
I've never touched it myself. I'm scared
I
to.
could
I'm
tell
scared
from
I
the
lose my
battles
mind.
house.
But if you were there, I'd be more
Native
comfortable.
American shit? It's
Yeah, I
literal
reckon.
Native American shit. Did they just walk up to you?
Wait,
Well, I mean, it
goddammit,
ain't like
Kai!
turds. It's just this stuff that Native Americans came up with to get high and have like
No,
spiritual
that's
visions.
turds. No.
The Imperials are here!
It's turds.
We're pulling out!
You're thinking of Africa. You're thinking of the butt hash boys.
Gosh. I don't want to know about that now. No, thank you.
You probably don't. I don't know. You know, there's stuff that I could say that's pretty funny from talking to Winter about that whole situation. Like,
Yeah?
I don't know, like, I was still trying to make Ellie happy at that time. I felt guilty because, like, we were pretty poor because I was just working part-time, you know, and I felt like I couldn't really give her very much, you know. So, I saved up money to pay for her plane ticket to go down there and see Winter and stuff, and so I paid for that, and I stayed behind because I could only afford one ticket, and I had to focus on college anyway. But I don't know, some funny shit happened there. I found out from Winter that I shouldn't talk about on the air here, I reckon. So maybe I'll tell you about that later.
It's begun.
What has...
I gave you the trigger. Your memory should come back.
You got the big titty witch.
Never forget how much
You got the big
blood
titty
will be
witch.
spilled because of you. Because of your power.
No, but she's totally gonna die, I can tell. She's got that sad look in her eyes. It's just like... It just says, I'm gonna die a lonely death.
Oh, that was Riley.
I'm wondering who's gonna die on the hero
Friend
side.
of yours? Perhaps she'll be the first
No
to
one.
pay the price.
This is shown in anime, and no one dies ever.
No!
In every Valkyria game, at least one hero
Go back
character
to
has
the
always
people who
died.
chose you.
Oh, nice. Not enough. Oh, nice.
And then,
Right,
finally,
right.
Oh,
I
God.
kinda agree, not enough maybe, but...
It's a war game. All your main characters survive.
go.
Yeah, just like
Now.
Fire Emblem, you can keep all your squad alive, except for the ones who are
Yeah.
scripted to die.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I usually
Which
do
is-
that.
Yep.
I hope I see you again,
Gotta
Ben.
Iron Man it.
But they do have, every single soldier in your squad has their own unique death scene if they do die. Which is kind of
Right.
neat and sad.
What?
Some of them are really sad.
Did any Federation soldiers come this way?
To die.
We were
Some
in
of them are
pursuit,
really
but we've lost
fucked
them.
up. Like, I think the most
Yeah?
fucked up one was the 12-year-old girl, Aisha. Like,
They've been dealt with. I'm
I
not
watched a
taking
video
down
that somebody
until
did where they
nothing
got
was
all the
left.
death scenes compiled in a single YouTube video, and like the death of Aisha, this literally 12-year-old girl, it made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah? What
Yeah.
was it?
Well, I mean, it was just like she's bleeding out, you know, this 12-year-old girl, and she calls out to her lieutenant, and she tells her lieutenant that she's scared,
Angie.
you know.
Yeah, I'd be
And it
scared
was
of my
something
first
like-
period too.
She's like crying and saying, please, Lieutenant
You
Welkin,
missed
don't
that.
let me die, you know.
How are we supposed to live like this?
That's
Who
awful.
can we...
I just
can
caught
we
it. I just
believe
caught it.
in?
I get it. But yeah, she's like something like, "Please, Lieutenant Welkin, don't let me die. I'm scared," you know. And then she bleeds out. It's a fucking 12-year-old girl, and it's just like,
Why is there a 12-year-old in war? Bra?
it was really complicated. It was something like, I don't think that there would be in real life, obviously, but the reason they gave in the game, it was a combination, it was basically a loophole in Gallian law that said that once citizens complete their high school, they are eligible for the militia. And so she was like a child prodigy, and she completed her high school and got her diploma at age 12, and then when the war came, there was no age limit on when you could enlist. It was just you had to finish high school, so she enlisted to defend her country. So you end up with a 12-year-old girl in your platoon.
Then she dies. Couldn't see where
She only dies if you're an evil bastard
Okay,
who gets her
everyone's
killed.
here.
Sounds like me. I mean, what?
Wait, Rags is gone.
And it's like,
But he always stays when I tell him.
I don't know, like she has like a lisp because she's missing some of her teeth because not all of her adult teeth are still in yet. So I mean,
Oh my
she's
God,
just
she's
like
like super cute now.
she's adorable.
She can't die, she's
She
like a
is
precious
absolutely
cinnamon roll.
adorable. Exactly. She is absolutely adorable.
Andy?
And like
What are you doing here?
Wait,
So-
she's absolutely what? I didn't quite catch that.
adorable.
What?
We can
Absolutely
talk
what?
later. Right now, we need to leave.
Adorable.
What?
They're rolling out. Hang on tight.
Sorry.
Arrivederci.
Okay.
Adorable.
A rever. You just reminded me of
Inglorious Bastards, that was the point.
yeah, okay. his Italian was great.
Yeah.
It's like so bad.
Yeah, and it's obvious Waltz was on to him.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Oh. Oh, I hate that one.
He just loses his mind laughing because of how stupid it is right in front of him.
Yeah.
Colonel Landa.
But he's like, he's not gonna call out. He's just got other plans.
Right, he wants to get the Medal of Honor and retire in the United States. It was so fucking great. He made that movie, Christoph Waltz.
He did.
He made that movie.
Christoph Waltz, the movie.
You like, I could not, personally, maybe it's just me, I could not dislike him. Like, it didn't
Same.
matter how evil he was just,
He was too charismatic.
he was too charismatic and just too
Fun to
fucking
watch, in
hilarious and fun. So I was like genuinely happy when he lived through the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. And plus, seeing the big bad evil guy get killed in every movie gets tiring and old.
Right, exactly.
It also had that like, hey, this is rare. This is a breath of fresh air take on it as well.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, they carved a swastika in his forehead, but like Brad Pitt said, that pretty little nest you feathered for you and Nantucket, well, if you're willing to barbecue the whole German high command, I guess that's worth some concessions. So presumably he still gets the Medal of Honor and he still gets to be a military hero in American history.
Fantastic. With this much fuel, we can go for weeks.
Like, even when he
without
was
losing speed.
strangling that girl, I couldn't hate him. You know, it was just like...
Right.
I was just glad in that scene, I was relieved that she was dying and not him. Like, that she didn't pull a gun and shoot him.
Yeah.
That's a huge help.
And plus
Take
she
the
was
food to the
trigger,
galley
so, you know.
immediately. Have the ammunition for easy access.
Yeah.
Well, so is he, but
That's a little more
he's Colonel
complicated.
Landa.
We'll
That's a
use
little
their
more
own
complicated.
shells to tear through their armor. It doesn't get much better. There's eggs.
Was he a
milk,
traitor?
and sugar,
That's a little
too.
more complicated,
We gotta get
because
the
the
cook
thing
to whip
is
up some
that, like,
eggnog.
I feel like Landa never really had any true loyalty to the Nazis. He just had loyalty to
It
his
is practically
code,
the holidays.
you know?
Man, I miss my mom's cooking.
I mean, but he's still with them, and if the Nazis caught wind of his plan and discovered him for it, he would have been
Certainly he
killed
would have been
for
shot
being
as a
a
traitor.
traitor.
Yeah, certainly. I guess it's just like, it bothers me less in his case. Maybe it is a double standard,
So,
but it bothers me less in his
You know
case
how I
because
like
the only
talking
reason
before
he
the
was
rest of
really a quote-unquote traitor in his case is because of his code. Like, his way of viewing the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He never really had any loyalty to the Nazis. Like, even in the first scene, he makes it clear that he doesn't really buy
Sam didn't
into
shake
their
me up too
propaganda.
badly.
You know,
I'll change, and there's nothing we can do about that.
he just
But Kai, how much do you
does
really know about all
the
this?
Jew hunting thing because he says that's what he's good at. Like he thinks he has this gift, this talent, you know, and he wants to make a name for himself.
I'm as confused as you.
Right.
He never really told me anything. He just dropped his cryptic hints. But if I told you what I do know,
And that name was
it would only hurt
Jew
you.
Hunter.
So I can't.
Tarantino considered having Leonardo
I
DiCaprio
thought
play that role
you know
originally.
Kai.
That would have been interesting to see.
It would have been interesting to see, yes, I agree. Like, it might have been really good, but at the end of the day,
The
you know,
one who's
discovering
been on our
this
side the whole
Austrian
time, I
soap
mean.
opera actor and using him instead, I think I think we got the better performance.
She's not
Yeah.
the kind of person to
Like, I'm not
lie
gonna
or
claim
hide
that we
anything.
lost out on Leo, because what we got was amazing.
And we eventually did get Leo in Django Unchained, you know? He played
I
the
have not seen that.
plantation owner in that movie.
I gotta see that
So
now.
if she says she
And
can't
Waltz
tell
was
us,
in it.
she
That
means
movie
it.
has its like I don't know. I'd want to talk to you about it because I have mixed feelings on that movie. Like,
Please, just
I don't want to spoil
don't push
anything,
her
but
on
basically there's a certain point in the movie where something happens,
Raz,
and then the rest of the movie after that point is
Wow.
just shit.
when did you turn into a
Oh.
cool guy?
Like, I hate to
It's one
say
of
that,
those
but
movies.
right, but a lot of the movie is really entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, but and Christoph Waltz is there, and is every bit as fun to watch as he was in Bastards, playing a different character.
Right.
But there's a certain point in the movie at which it
Drops off.
it goes in the fucking cellar. And I personally attribute that to Quentin Tarantino had an editor who he always worked with, a woman named Sally Menke.
I didn't know
And
you had it
after
in you.
Inglourious Bastards, she died in the desert of heat stroke. And so
Ouch.
Tarantino was left to edit his own films after
Riley.
that. So he edited Django himself, and as a consequence, the movie
Kaz got
runs
there before
way
I
too
could.
long. And like, Tarantino himself
trust
once
Kai
said
too.
that he talked about Sally Menke and
friends.
why he liked her, and it was like, it was because
Yeah.
he would
were
love
friends
every
way
single
before any of
scene that
this
he
military
filmed
stuff.
and directed. But she would like convince him, this scene needs to go, this scene needs to go, and she would do it in like this really gentle and convincing way,
guys.
and he wouldn't want to let the scenes go, but he would trust her, you know. And in
Sure,
the end,
we'll
it would
find
all
out
work
when the
out for the
time comes.
best.
If she can't tell us now,
But
Yeah.
after she died, every movie since then has had some serious editing
okay with you,
issues. And in general, they all just run way too long. And
What?
never was that more apparent than in Django, where you get
see,
these
Kai? We're good, right?
long, boring scenes at times. And especially the end of the movie. The end of the movie is just... Ironically, it's the most violent part of the movie, but it's also the biggest snooze fest
Everyone.
in the whole movie. It is so boring. Because it's just completely mindless violence. And Sally would have cut down on that if she had still been alive, is what I fully believe.
Right.
Hey, Andy. You know everyone would be really sad if something bad happened to you, right?
Rest
So,
in peace, Sally.
you can't run off without telling anyone.
One of the
okay?
things that I did like about that movie was like, in a weird way, it was like
Sorry.
Tarantino made
You
this
can just
movie,
tell someone
Inglourious
if you wanna get off
Bastards,
this ship, you know?
where he kind of shits all
He could
over the
take you
Germans and the
someplace safe.
Nazis, you know.
No, I like being on the ship. I
But
like
then,
everyone here.
ironically, in
Just wanted
Django,
to be useful.
Christoph Waltz
I
is
thought
playing
maybe being in
a
town would help me remember.
German-American bounty hunter, you know? And Christoph Waltz has a lot of pride in his German heritage. And it's ironically his pride in his German heritage that leads his character in that movie to start helping Django, and he becomes friends with this black guy, you know, and then he starts to really care about the plight of blacks who are slaves and starts genuinely wanting them to be free, you know.
We just want you to be happy.
And it's ironically, it's out of the same German pride that his character in Bastards was killing Jews over. So I mean, in a weird way, it was almost like
But you wanted to get your memories
Pride
back,
gets
huh?
you different places.
Did you remember
it was
anything
almost
about
like
your past?
Tarantino was saying, you know, I made that movie about the Germans, but you know what? They're really not all bad, you know? And it's like, he had a bad kind of pride in Bastards, but in Django, his character had what I consider the good kind of pride.
It's fine though.
You know?
You don't have to
Like, he
force
had
it.
this sense of honor and this sense of respect for human life.
If you don't have any memories, we can make some new ones. Everyone here can help
And
you
that
with
led to some really amazing
new
scenes.
memories. And I think it's time for new memory number 1. Since you said you're sorry.
And I don't want to spoil it if you're interested in seeing the movie, unless you want me to.
Ta-da! Your
Don't
big sister
spoil
Riley's
it,
special
bro.
homemade pudding.
Okay.
Pudding? Oh, do you not like custard pudding?
Yeah, Lando was just
I don't know. I've never... Wait, you've never
one of
had
those
pudding?
characters that every time you
Even
see him,
once?
like the Joker in The Dark Knight, every time you see him, you just smile.
I don't think so.
Oh, what's this crazy bastard
Maybe your
gonna
family
do
was
now?
super strict? Well, I promise it tastes really good. Go ahead and try it. Okay, thank you. It's so sweet.
The dinner scene was so messed up. I'm still convinced that that was a metaphor for rape. When Landa has when
Nice to
Landa
hear it.
has a
There's
meal,
lots
not
more
really
where that
dinner,
came
but
from, so have as
dessert
much as you
with
want.
the blonde girl, the Jewish girl, Shoshana.
Oh, right.
Like, I don't know if we've talked about that before, but that scene to me is basically, it's straight up, it's a metaphor for rape.
Thank you, Riley.
Like, I think the part that makes it the most clear is when Landa stops her and tells her, "Wait for the cream." Hello? I still got you? Check, check.
Running off without a word? You scare the shit out of me.
Snow, buddy, you there? Oh, I lost you.
I still came back, right?
Yeah. As long as you're here, I'm good.
Sorry. I guess I made you worry. I made trouble for you too.
Did I lose connection?
Hey, no big deal. You know I'd do anything for you.
That's what I mean.
I don't read any laws. Yes.
I took advantage of your kindness.
Oh, damn it! I can't take it anymore!
What are you?
Gah! Son of a... That hurt, man!
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Damn it, there's more?
Idiot.
Huh?
Worked better than a punch, didn't it?
Yeah. Now that's a knockout.
Chapter 13.
Okay, I might be having some
Waiting
internet
for
issues, so I'm going to cut the broadcast, and I'll be back. Thanks for watching, anybody who stopped in.